Hey, everybody. Um, I wanted to just come online and at least leave some type of, message to the GPMS USA. Um, I feel that the stress of not having your needs met has reached um, a pressurized state that just cannot be ignored. And this goes collectively for everyone. It is within all of us. We all know what love is. We all know what doing the right thing is. We all know what compassion is. We all know what these things are. And choosing to do the right thing by other people is the energy of the new world. It's the service to others instead of the service to self. And to make sure that your brothers and sisters are cared for and provided for. And, as a divine mother, the divine mother, all of her children will always have everything that they ever need. They're never in lack. Those are the rules of nature. And that's why the Gpms.world liberates everyone. It liberates everyone from the stress, everyone from the heartache, if you will. Because if you think about it on an energetic level, people are out there crying. They are in pain. They are inflicted with suffering because they need to pay rent, or they need to pay the light bill, or they need to, you know, take care of their children. People are crying. There is an energetic heartache that comes with this, and people are experiencing it. And it is unnecessary. And I spoke to someone yesterday, and I literally told him, I said, all of this is unnecessary when we have the power to change it that fast, because the people can choose to not allow that to be in their reality, right? So, welcome. My energy shifted when you got here, so now I'm going to just pause. Welcome to this GPMS USA transmission. And a few things we're going to cover are the religious programming and, the governmental school indoctrinated program. Well, that education system is just fully out of alignment with the truth and with source energy and the new earth. The children don't belong in these indoctrination camps. They don't belong in these mind control programs that teach fake history and fake, um, it's just false information. It's manipulated information to create more cycles of enslaved beings, and we're doing away with that collectively. All of the parents all over the world have been becoming more and more energetically capable and realizing within themselves the capabilities they have to, you know play a bigger role in the family unit, to influence their children the way that they want to influence their children versus what the state says that you had to influence your children. That birth certificate that the state gave everyone it is a false identity. It is a dead entity, and it is not who we truly are in God's kingdom. Who we truly are in God's kingdom, we are higher energetic beings of light and love and vibration. The one that I spoke to yesterday, the divine one I spoke to yesterday, he presented, a collective fear, and that is that the people, rising up against this tyrannical regime will somehow cost them their life or cost them something. And while that, you know, ideology, I mean, you're looking at that, I see like the linear time that they're observing that consciousness from. But the levels of consciousness that we are all here to play on the planet are so much higher than anything that was actually on the planet. And because of the true transparency and love and genuine service to humanity that GPMS represents, it cannot be stood against. No one can deny it. And it is irrefutable that it belongs to the people. It is irrefutable that it is, you know, the people are worthy and deserving of this brand new, fresh air and fresh energy of being provided for and removing all of the stress and discomfort in the world with the creation of Gpms.world. There's no more debates, there's no more, you know, nothing can stand against it. And it the more the people realize their true potential within themselves and the more that they come online heart consciously, Gpms.world is here and ready, and it's everything that they've been looking for. It's everything they've been hearing about. And those timelines are coming online for all of us collectively. I know that a lot of us have been through enough. I'm just going to pause there. That's what and the misery and, you know, ill intentions towards humanity cannot go further at all. The media, I'm watching the media break down. I'm watching, you know, certain platforms be exposed for their nefarious activities, and the people really questioning what they could trust, what they can't trust. And I see that breaking down through the consciousness. And I was surprised the other day, someone I thought that was, you know, consciously aware of what we were doing suddenly made a post that they wanted a gold backed currency. And I was like, wow. And but the biggest concern that I'm experiencing within the people I'm speaking to is a fear that they, you know, have to be afraid of some government or military coming after them. And the only thing I can say to that is that they know where I'm at, they know what I'm doing, and you know that no one has ever came to stop me. They haven't even there's nothing they can do. They are literally redeemed completely null and void in our reality because they lied, they tricked, and they used deceptive intentions to trick humanity into this enslavement. They don't have any authority over the people. When you use those types of manipulative energies to get what you want out of people, you can't remain in our energy because our intentions are truly pure and genuine. And I'm so glad to see some other people here, and I'd love either one of you to chime in at this point. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Emily. Did you wish to go ahead, Dulama?
My fellow sisters and brother. How are you guys?
Great.
I have here with that.
It seems that Dualma, you're still in a poor internet connection area.
Yeah, I'm in bad signal right now. I'm in Arizona and listening to the dogs howl and the birds chirp. Um, I'm excited to be a part of this GPMS movement, Global People's Monetary System. It is part of my own vision, my own experience. This world is correcting itself, and it takes people, living men and women, to stand up. to make the corrections, because the corporate world and the government will not correct itself. And just as both of you, Emily and Rick, have pointed out many times, we do have assistance, a higher power. That higher power is in direct congruency with our inner selves, our conscious self. And I'm here to witness it with you guys that this world is changing for the better. We are moving into peace and harmony flow, and the people will own all the assets of Earth, the assets of mankind on this Earth. This is part of establishing peace and congruency with all the people, so that men and women and the children can be truly free with unlimited abundance to go and do and create with their dreams and their ideas unhindered, and access to currency, first their own currency inside themselves, and then the resources for them to manifest inventions and ideas. And we will see and witness many Nikola Teslas and Einsteins rise up and invent ideas to make people's lives easier. And this is it. Gpms.world, along with the corrections of our language. The people must come into congruency with speaking correctness with their words. Because if our words are babble, then our lives are going to be chaotic. Anyway, I'd like to leave it at that and pass it on. Thank you.
Emily, I just put the notice in the contributors group that we're having a US video chat, just to let some others know. Emily, I do have a list of some things. Lee and I anticipated yesterday or today to do a Facebook Live on GPMS. There are some new insights and concepts, if you will, if you wanted me to elaborate on any of that. But you're the one here that's leading this up, so
Rick,
I'll just
you're open to share whatever. There's no restrictions.
yeah.
Except now I can't hear you. I can't hear you now, Rick. Well, what Rick, while you're figuring out your microphone, Dualma, I hope you can hear me. Welcome, Beatrice. Um, I wanted to say thank you, Dualma, and show the gratitude that and express gratitude for the words that you said. You know, this has been a long, hard journey. And it just shouldn't be so hard for anybody. That's what I feel in the depths of my soul. It isn't supposed to be this way, and that it is up to us to correct it. And, you know, if someone doesn't correct it, then who would have corrected it? And, you know, one topic I wanted to bring up today was the teachings of the Christian church, the Christian faith, you know, that they're all waiting on this Messiah to appear. And, you know, how many lifetimes are, you know, have people been tricked to believe that? How many times did you spend your entire life waiting on this savior to come and rescue your conditions down here? Because truly what people are praying and wishing for is freedom and abundance, and to break free of that debt that creates death. And that is the true living. We could literally put put freedom and money in the same category, and they align with each other, because that's how the old corrupt system was created. You could only be free if you had money, and it's totally wrong and being done away with. And everybody is aligning with Gpms.world more and more every day. um, I do feel that people are feeling their own responsibilities for it and taking it off of the hands of a few, because the few are not responsible for doing this work. It takes everyone on the planet to participate in the movement, sharing it with the people that are around them and stepping out of that fear of what might happen. Well, great things will happen, because this is our divine birthright. It is our inalienable right to create what we want to create together. No one can stop that. That's a force you cannot control. As long as it's from the higher place, it's from pure intentions, and it's to see people do good and live abundantly. It's a really beautiful, beautiful thing. I think, um, as I've stated many times, the manipulated media, the nefarious coded intentions of the media to propagate fear, that's a whole stream of consciousness that was they had it, on the internet, placing false images on the internet and false stories all over the internet. The internet was like programmed to create this mass hysteria of information that isn't even true. I told someone gently and gracefully yesterday, I asked her, I said, "Did you see any of this with your own eyes?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, I have really come to believe that I don't trust information, if people just throw influence at me, I don't just outright trust that influence is trustworthy. I don't give them that. I ask myself. I'm consciously responsible for what I'm influenced with." And she understood, and I don't know what to do any more than what I'm already doing. I'm still in that mode, and that's not a bad place to be. When you don't know what to do, you know there's not a bad place to be. Rick, you want to see if you can come back on?
Oh, thank you. Is this working now?
Most definitely.
Great, great. What I wish to share is about 2 days ago, I put out and what do you call this, like on Facebook, when you put out them 2 sentence things in colors? Is it a meme, or is there a word for that?
I don't know that there's a word for that. I mean, it looks like a meme.
All right. All right. Thanks. So what I did is I put out and I put it in the violet amethyst purple color. And here's what it said. It said, "What would you do if you won an unlimited lifetime lottery?" Question mark. Then I wrote the next line. It says Gpms.world is doing this for all now. Be a part. Make it happen. So that was the simple message. And the reason I'm bringing this up was because it was very interesting with the comments, where a lot of the focus and direction went. And, this is a simple 2 sentence meme, if you will, with a very connective and very important message. But it was very apparent that the attention span only saw half of it, with the cognitive dissonance, meaning that several, or perhaps even many of the comments, they just focused on answering the question from the old matrix: if you won the unlimited lottery. So what, some of the comments were, they would help some of their friends. They would buy a home and a vehicle. And so it was like a total disconnect. But what became apparent for I is that they didn't even take the time to delve further in to see what Gpms.world was. But also, more profoundly, I don't believe they even saw the second sentence that, let's say, that the conditioning was so deep that their vision would only see the first sentence and they would not see the second.
I haven't had a conversation about people's attention spans in a long time, but I guess, that's a good thing to talk about, is because the same thing I just said about the internet being programmed to send out false images. It's like, it's so deep, it's so embedded. And I really strive to help people, go within themselves and be influenced by their own consciousness instead of something outside of them, because only you truly know what's good for you. Is kind of what that's how I teach people. And like I said, Rick, I am at a place where, people are going to have to just learn some lessons. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. I've told people about all of this information. I've told them what's really going on, and that's all I can do. I can't really, force them to see things my way or participate or help or anything. I can just be myself, and I do that religiously. But I saw your post and I ran with it. I went and created a video out of the language and changed the words up a little bit, because I totally understand paying all of us a lifetime lottery payment and removing the stress of being stressed out and, confronted with the same problem every single freaking day, week, or month. How do I pay this? How do I pay that? How do I buy this? How do I buy that? We completely wiped that out with GPMS. And I guess
And I
people are
guess
struggling. I go ahead.
No, thank you, absolutely, Emily. But also, look, observing it was like that. Um, they regressed back in to the matrix on how they would put their money in the matrix to survive. So, but more so, I had anticipated that those that perhaps didn't know about GPMS, what their comments would have been. Well, what's GPMS? How is this possible? But instead, many seem to instantly just revert to what they would do if they won a lottery in the matrix, in the old reality. Their hearts, if you will, was in the right place for to have the morality which should have ideally been able to make them see GPMS, but it was not the case, is what I felt. So this was more like an experiment, an important experiment, to give us information and perhaps to look at some other ways that they can more easily see GPMS. One of the things in the beginning, uh, well, not in the beginning perhaps, but what we had observed as well is that ones that, let's say, were more selfish, not immorality, it was very understandable to see why they would not be in alignment with GPMS. However, with ones that are in their heart with caring and sharing, they should have been able, in my perspective, they should have been able to more readily see that other part of the post
of the two sentences rather than reverting and going, if you will, right back into the old and ignoring the solution part. So for me, I do know that with a negated consciousness, even though ones are in their heart and morally at least know what is right and wrong, there is the negated consciousness aspect where they cannot see certain things. And it is also my strong feeling now that they cannot even see the word GPMS. They cannot even see it's like it doesn't exist, the word for them. And what I wish to say, it's because, again, it's with the programming in the depth, in the imprint of the conditioning. So, again, with that, what are the best ways to get to their consciousness with this? And this is an open question, perhaps again to create a think tank. We've been trying, all of us, so many different ways to penetrate the consciousness. And of course, if we had all the idea way, we would be there right now. But it's obvious that um, there is perhaps other ways to do this. So I just wish to leave it open like that for one's considerations and to draw as a think tank on the ingenuity and the innovation of each one. Like, how do we get their attention, but how do we make them see the simplicity and actually see the word GPMS or even the concept? So I'll leave it there. Thank
Hey,
you.
Rick, it's a really great question because I've been talking to some people on the X platform. You know, I'm still there. I'm not quite as active as I once was, but I'm still there. Um, it's the technology, and my inner self knows how nefarious the technology is, how manipulated it is. It's literally um, very intentionally nefarious. There's so much garbage on our internet. And just even the concept of people getting out of a cellular screen and experiencing the world for real is sometimes a challenge I've noticed for people to receive. Um, but I do know that, as with anything, Rick, cause and effect is always alive, and they're still potentially, they need to learn some things. And I do hold space for them to do that, not at my own expense. I'm going to go out and create my own happiness and my own joy before I allow anybody to, I stay responsible for my own happiness. And the number one thing that's always worked for me, because the internet has been so shady, um, is one-on-one. That's always been the sweet spot, is if I can talk to people one-on-one and have something in my hand that's very generic even, and just give it to people. I literally told, I tell everybody, if everybody just passed out 10 little flyers a day to random people, that is the sweet spot, is one-on-one. That's the only thing that's worked for me the last 3 years because of the internet. The internet is literally programmed. They won't even see your post unless you're paying to advertise your post. That's how it's set up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's that element, that we, if you will, there's so many elements we are contending with. But the word of mouth, yes, as you're saying, Emily. But then you look at, how time consuming as well it is. And the pamphlet idea is a great idea. Currently with the pamphlet, I believe in England, Jenny and Rachel, and there was another one. We're trying to connect them to make three in England, to go on the street and pass the pamphlets as well. And idealistically, as you're saying, when you pass the pamphlet, it's quite it's perhaps more effective to get another representative, if you will, because of the internet with the amount of censoring, but that's getting less. But yeah, these are most effective ways. I was going to say something else, but I just forgot. I'm good for now. Thanks.
I mean, I've said before that if you have an apartment complex in your area, that's like an easy place to go, like drop little pamphlets by every door. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to go walk the whole neighborhood. Just I know me, if I had a printer and I had money and I had paper and ink and all the things that I need to do it, I would have already done it. But because other people outside of me are the ones holding those resources and they're using them for whatever they want to use their resources for, I do it. I'm only doing what I can do. And I've told the people many times to, you know, this is how we do this, and it sometimes it gets through and sometimes it doesn't.
May I share?
May I? Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Regarding um, earlier, Emily, you mentioned about Christ being, or the second coming of Christ. I would like to share, as I am here as a testament to the second coming. I bear witness to Christ in each and every one with the global people's monetary system. If we look at our words and how they're formulated, the globe has to do with all of us, the energy, the people. The people are our fellow contracts with each other, ourselves and each other. We all motion together and separately, individually, within the globe. And it's meant to be free moto volitions for each and every one of us. That's with the fee simple, meaning you're not required to pay a sum in order to go from A to B. Um, monetary, monetary having to do with money, money, mono, also has to do with one system, a globe, the peoples, the fellow contracts of one system. This is a Christ system. And I know that you guys also testify to this because I hear it in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your words. Perhaps a simple method, we could put out the word and try to gin up, gin with the genes inside us, our DNA, gin up the energy, the moto volition to inspire people, others, to assist in our cause. And we could perhaps manufacture a bunch of paper barcodes that are attached to Gpms.world website, and we could helicopter drop a bunch of them throughout in terms of Great Depression. They would help to drop. Can, and it, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you for that. You were breaking up at the very end, but the last thing I heard was a helicopter drop, and I know my mind took me there. So I wouldn't. I mean, I could guess I could, maybe meditate on that and see, how I could get that one done. I do want to say, that what I've been going through energetically within myself is this experience, like when I observe my external self in others, it's like there's something there. The first thing everybody needs to do is just admit that they were bamboozled. And if they could do that, if we could just start there, if they could just admit that they bought a lie, that they fell into that lie, because that is a lie. All of it is a lie. The birth certificate is a lie. The debt is a lie. The history was a lie. The science was a lie. The technology is manipulated. It's all deceptive. And if they could just admit that within themselves and then accept the fact that that happened, I think we could really get somewhere. But it feels like everybody's stuck there, judging themselves. And I don't know what to do about that. We all played a part in our existence up until now. And, there's still love for you on the other side. Just come out, come out. And it's something about accepting, and just being okay with, everything that's happened up until now. You have to let everything go up until now. And I understand that this is really huge, and to admit, that you've sold yourself short, that you did it to yourself. And as long as you're allowing anything outside of yourself to continue to do that, then it continues to do that. And being fully responsible and accountable for, our actions, our conscious words, our conscious behaviors. It is a big job, but it's within all of us to be able to do that. That's the way we were designed. That's the way God made us, and nothing can ever change it. And I'm just doing my very best day to day to hold space with the collective again, because, you know, that's been my role since 4 years ago. I just do that a lot, just hold space. So, like I said, I'm going to say this because it is the truth in me. I really, really anticipated more people wanting to be involved. I anticipated them being able to feel within them that what we're saying is the real truth, and this is what's really best for us. And to get past that layer that somebody wants to hurt them or abuse them, exploit them, take advantage of them, or manipulate them in some way to get something from them. That's not what GPMS is about. GPMS is here to embrace great, glorious change and bring everyone into a harmonious state of happiness where they're experiencing life. They're experiencing our world, and not through a computer screen, not through a phone, but really experiencing the glory and the majesty that our planet truly is. And it was revealed to me last week. I came to Earth to rest after many, many battles. And when I got here, it wasn't even a resting place. You know, wait a minute, wait a minute. So we're all here to do a great, glorious job, or we wouldn't have came here. We wouldn't have came here. And I just know within myself that the people are truly free to choose whatever they want to choose, and allowing them to continue to go through that process, whatever that cause and effect looks like for them until they learn. And that's what creator has always done. So that's where I'm at with it all. Really.
Yes, yes. Beatrice, I don't wish to hog here, or all of us. Was there anything, Beatrice, you wanted to contribute? But Emily, are you recording this?
I am.
Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, just 1 second, Beatrice, please. And what I'll do is when Beatrice is done, if you all come in and what Dual finished off there about the Christ component and touch on a bit of the church, perhaps, if that resonates with all. But first, beautiful, lovely sister Beatrice, go ahead.
Yeah, hello to everyone. What I would like to add that the Christians they have also on their Bible that they do not need to wait Jesus to save them because they have there that they have to protect their temple as the body and do not let substances to damage the body. And also it's also about the word that practically they should right now understand much more that they need to fight with love and unite each other because right now for the first time they are informed that practically the danger and everyone that wants to make the war it's only the president, it's only practically this minion of the darkness and not really the population. So right now they have the information is as never before, and it seems to be like more a message from the church. It's not really wait Jesus. It's also towards to make something, but when the message is to make something is more directly to another pyramid, to another political party support. So they are still on the world situation, and they do not embrace the autonomy and everything, and they are afraid a little bit how the church will be inside of the autonomy, or they are thinking also in a new system as GPMS because in the old system they know that they can be attached to the state or something like, then they will move forward. But in the new system, it's like a game changer, and they have no idea what will be the position of the church inside. Then from there, it's also they have question and they try to take over with their knowledge and Gpms.world, and when they try to take over they see that the message could be like appropriate, but it's not the same as they have in the Bible. And from there, they start a little bit to say no. So it's like we'll see what will happen, but it's like they will still move inside of the pyramid. So they practically reject GPMS.org. So I do not know how to send the message. It was also a priest in Romania that spoke 3 hours, and he said his life was in danger. And until someone was not able to protect his life, he was not able to speak the truth. Then he started to speak another Bible, and he started to speak about what happens in the actual situation. And it is good to say that the churches, especially in Romania and for sure in other, they are part of the state institution. So they had the pressure, so they had a lot of problem inside. And practically, I do not know how to move forward if the people are still keeping up, going to the church and practically be directed towards the pyramid system. So this is not good. but um, it's like the message from there needs to come in another way. But when we speak with the people from the church, we may see it's like it's something new. They have no idea. And it's something that is not coming with the same message. So probably the law of one could be also a solution to be inserted also on the website, and much more for the people, because I saw that the people started to pay more attention when we are saying, because they are asking what it is GPMS, another group. No, it's a universal nation, and this should be also inserted on the website if it is not right now inserted there. Because when they find that something that is not attached to the actual system, like a corporation or an organization, and it's something where they can line up finally, and it's like a universal nation above everything, within, so from there they started a little bit to pay attention. So this is my experience with the new Facebook account in Romania. And some leaders from some groups right now, practically, they try to enter also on my own account, personal account, where I'm speaking in English, not only on the group account for Romania. So they are looking right now for more information, because they understood they were like inside of a project for autonomy, but this project was like everybody can collaborate, will make everything from scratch together. And this was not working for years, because the information was not inside about the universal natural law. So they discovered autonomy, but the information about universal natural law was not there. So they try a project from the scratch. And right now, when they find the association with autonomy and universal natural law, and we are saying we come with a framework, it's already prepared. So you just to develop from here. When they find something that it's is like already made by others, and right now about the world decree. The world decree, they are not able to understand that this is constitution, this is international constitution. And then I need to speak. This is international constitution, so we have no followers. We have no the 65,000 people are not subscriber. Don't believe that we give them some information and nothing else. We are not just another group. We are ones that are coming with a decree, international constitution, speaking on their language. And it's just to line up. Yeah, but I need to develop. Okay, we can develop everything under Gpms.world. So the people started to put more attention when on Gpms.org, when they see that really something it's already done, and they just need to understand that. Probably also we should insert something about the law of one inside of the website, and also the change that is right now. The website is GPMS and it's only Global People Monetary System. In the past, it was and the simplified law. It is the law that is much more interesting than anything else, because it's the law that the people never associated with autonomy. So this should be back like it was before the name. And also another thing that I would like to share, it's about the control. It's about the control on the freedom movement, because we had the people informed that they started the freedom movement with their information, but these people that they were informed, they are directly towards a political party. Then they have also agents to see who is speaking against any pyramid system or something like. Then they try to divert the people, to make them to be busy in communities or something else. So the people needs to start a little bit to be aware of these traps. Start to is like a small list or something like, And then they will find out. Then when this will come on your Zoom room, or will try to make to divert you towards making community, or spend your time in another side, is just to let the other groups to continue and to make their pyramid system again. So then the people will start to be informed. So it's more about information. And the reason that I said all the time, going on the street is good, but also making like an online army, it's also good, because I saw the results in time. People in Canada that they are the freedom fighter, and they were told that they cannot do autonomy because the system will do not allow them. When they found me that I am the one on the back of Turtle Island Telegram account, they said, "Oh, this is not true. It's like it's incredible. So you are from here. So you are here in Canada and you are doing that." Yes. So it's me. It's like you believe that you were told that you cannot move forward with autonomy. And these are the people from Alberta, Canada, where the convoy started. The first one, the second one almost started there. So they were told, so they were kept back from that. And I spoke also with like around 1.5 years ago. I was inside to a union. It's like it was an event, a private event where I was invited. And it was probably around 200 people there at least. And I spoke, I wanted to take the mic and to speak about autonomy. And they rejected me. And from this rejection, I spoke with their CEO who organized the event. And when I spoke with him, he said, "Do you know something? I do not need the RCMP to come here." So they know that we have a private event. They know that we are speaking on private because they do not let us to speak on public about vaccination stuff and everything. Then we will inform the people that they come here and we will develop this movement. So this was like accepted to speak out. But the autonomy, no, thank you so much. I do not need this kind of problem. So I'll be put in jail. Okay, what happened from at that time? The time passed. We are just 1.5 years later. The jail time never happened. I spoke free about autonomy, Gpms.world, and everything. And I informed the people. So nothing happened. So this right now, the people from Alberta, they can see with every day that they were on the situation to choose autonomy on the past, but they never choose that because a fear control was inserted on the freedom movement. And this is part of the agents that they control the freedom movement. So it was even not real. And right now, the people from Romania, because I saw also a video and I made the comments inside, they fear of the war and they understand they do not want collaboration inside of the war. They understand everything. They fear that the others will come and they will be violent. So they will be put under the violence. Then they have to protect themselves under the violence of others. So the negotiation to the top with US military, marine, white hats and everything are going nowhere. And right now I receive a message 2 nights ago from someone that is keeping also a podcast for Trump. So he's a speaker from Trump and they support Trump because they love Trump. And they love this action of liberation of the planet. And he knows about autonomy because he found me in another group in the past speaking about autonomy and keeping Zoom room. And he said, "Do you know?" I will read exactly the message to let the people to see exactly his word, not mine. And they will find out what really happens. He said, "Jasara was the original idea, but was shut down many times. But we are heading into house for the moment until 2025. Then we are good. Low-lying fruit of the cabal being taken out. So this cabal taking out never happened. And right now we are just in the situation to know that we have another 1 year and we do not know if what will happen in 2024. So they were informed that probably Trump will do not happen in 2024. And from another confidential intel that I cannot share in public with the name, but it's a Q account, we are informed that in Israel they have no other solution that's moving towards the Great War. The Great War. These are the words. Because the Corporation of Israel expired on October 31, 2023. So they are inside of this corporation, republic, and everything. And from there, they cannot move forward in time. And they are saying also that they have infiltration. Some people from Trump movement, that they kept all the time the movement up for years, started to see that they protect only Trump and not themselves. So right now it's like the people, the information about the World War III started again, and the people are still not able to understand that we have only one war. We never had three, only the spiritual war, that it's the human race versus the AT regressive. And they continue, and practically this is still cover, and it's cover, and it's cover, and it's going where? So, and they still reject the idea of Gpms.world to speak, and they do not let us to insert this information on their account. So on this situation is like, I do not know what it is on the to the head of white hats, but something happens there. So we had 3 events until now that I know. They are international. We had one in the United States, we had the fire in Canada, never stop, and we have right now the war in Israel. And they are saying for all that, all the time, they are saying all the time, we cannot move forward because we still find under the ground, we still find reptilians and other AT regressive and everything, and practically there is the real war. It's under the ground because even that we clean up, it's something very deep, and there are so many area under the ground, and we were not able to penetrate and to find them, all of them. And we have also infiltration, probably Soros infiltration to the top inside of white hats. Wow. So how long time the people needs to do not be informed about that. Right now, this message passed on public video. It's on Rumble. So how long time the people needs do not be informed about this situation, what happened inside of white hats, and just to have a waiting time. So probably I do not know how, because I do not come forward to copy their Rumble video and just to let the information from there to be shared. I do not know how to share other than saying that the information is already told there to the public. So the people are on the full war practically that never stop, and we had never 3 wars. And right now they see that something happens and they are not protected, and they have not the information GPMS to choose it. So it's like, and the moment is now. It is a huge pressure. I do understand that. I do not know how the banks will move forward in Canada, because the ID digital, it's already accepted in law. And they put the pressure under the healthcare system. So yes, we are heading into the house. And the message was correct. And they let this to be done for another 1 year for 2024. So it's like it's incredible to me how the people still can support Trump and the pyramid system. I do not know. From here, I'm really lost how they do not move quickly inside of GPMS and start to share only GPMS message.
May I? What I see here, thank you for this information, Beatrice. Because what I will do with it, with the PsyOps program, that's what it is. Emily put it in the contributors lounge, and I know perhaps Beatrice, you also were part of that conversation. And this is very real. So what we're looking at with the PsyOps program, if you will, extending let's say into 2025, and it's all a manipulation and a brainwashing. But it was very obvious with what you were saying that I look at this both ways. This gives a niche in timing for GPMS to quickly go forward and give the people that are ready, the opposite, that know there is no waiting. But also, I need to go deeper into this. And I need to say that in the underground labs, they are very true. But the ones that start the wars themselves is the darkness. And under the guise of a perpetrated false war, they bring out more of these minions of the darkness, where they were, let's say, growing them and cloning them and what have you. So this is one of their practices. So it's obvious for I see Jasera and Nasera cannot come to fruition, any of that. And not only because they're false narratives, they're not in alignment with the divine plan. And the darkness knows this. So what they're doing now is with a stalling tactic to attempt to keep the people that they have in the false narrative illusions, like Q and Jacera and Nasara and Trump, all of those all go into the white hats, all go into the same bag. So if they're able to keep the people complacent while they are orchestrating these wars to bring out more of their underground army, it's what it's about. And as I mentioned, before, that upon the planet there is 6 billion human souls. This means that 2 billion are not human souls, that these were the minions that were brought to the surface, and under the guise of wars and immigration, they populated them and placed them all around the planet. Now, this is, again, this is the truth of the matter. However, again, I need to state that we won the war and we just keep collecting hours out of it. Um, and so it becomes, very, very evident of what the darkness, are doing, that they have to step back. But what this does, it opens up the gate more for us, and we're seeing the false narratives breaking down, like the white hats, and that Emily wrote about the we are the saviors ourselves. So that codependency and that part of the illusion is being broken, which is very good. To jump to the church for a moment, the church has been humbled and compromised by the actual evil system itself, and that for itself, let's say, posed a great hindrance, because also ideally, but unbeknownst to me, when I was instructed to put GPMS out, all Christians more or less should have identified with GPMS right in the moment, knowing it was the rapture. And as Dula said here, it's Christ. It is the Christ. That's what GPMS is, and it should have been recognized. However, again, it wasn't to those extents. So the divine plan is perfect, uh, because GPMS is the divine plan. And what we are all doing, and as Emily said, she come here, we all come back here. We know from the future where everything is great, and we're back here materially in the now, acting out all of the roles, kicking down all of the doors, breaking all of the obstacles to take this to fruition. So we've already won. So at this point, if you look at the beautiful benchmarks and milestones that we are currently at with GPMS, we have broken down the false narrative. They have to back off, prolong their false projected timelines, and where more are awakening from the illusion of the Trump white hat brainwashing and all what's included in that. But also now we're at the point where the church, we put them on the spot, and more or less, okay, who are they going to choose? The system, or are they going to choose God and do what is right? And simply by giving it to the church, if they are moral, they have to back the system that does no harm, to simply keep to put it. And we simply put it in their face, as you have done, Beatrice, to begin to seed it in there, that by churches being partisan and being accomplice to a capitalistic system that has caused poverty that led to death for many, this is not moral, and it's not in alignment with God. So we're at this point now putting the church on the spot, and the church has no choice but to repent and go into the redemption process of the ones that are actually in alignment with God. Now, having said this, we know there are false churches as well, and false leaders. But the importance is that the same as with the false narratives, there are many genuine moral souls that were tricked by not only the false narratives, but by the church as well, and seduced into, the corrupt system of giving money to the church. And we'll use the Catholic Church as the prime example, where the Catholic Church has its own hedge fund, has many properties, is perhaps the richest financial institution on the planet. And as you can see, that just defies what God is. But nevertheless, having said this, with the Catholics, there are also many good souls in there. And part of one's soul journey, they may begin as a Catholic, then they'll go to Buddhism, Hinduism, Jaoism. It's part of their journey of learning, because even though, let's say, the religions are all manipulated to some degree, there is the fundamental values and truths to be taken out of that. But nevertheless, that's all organically resolving itself. But the important point is going to the people that go to church themselves, and that's already beginning to occur here in Romania. And what we need to, there's very few free churches around the planet, but nevertheless, these are the ones that we also need to speak to. And we have a very good, so we have evidence and documentation, which is very good, as artillery, good artillery to back when we make statements. One is when you look in the US, and Beatrice, it might have been in Canada as well, with the corona thing, how the government shut down churches. And this is showing, that the government, instead of God, was in control, and the churches were being subservient to the government and putting that in between. So, these things, if you will, can be thrown into their face as very bold-faced truths, and they need to be. And to utilize these facts that cannot be denied nor refuted. And so, we are in this great period of time. So it's good to see with the church because that opens up for Christianity, which, in alignment with Christ has, I believe, one decimal for at least devoted Christians worldwide or more, it might be. So, that's a huge number that can come in quickly. But I'll stop there. I was rambling on, but thank you for that.
I'm so grateful for everybody in this space because when I'm around certain embodiments, I can embody certain embodiments, and what is coming through me is that in the depths of all of the hidden text, hidden ritualistic, stuff that the church is fully aware of, all of their participation in all of their evil activities. I'm being completely transparent right now. They have the entire the all of it on an occult level. There are prophecies that they know about, they are aware of them, and they know that the Divine Mother has returned. That is a huge truth for me. There are prophecies about my specific energetic print returning. I don't pay attention to whatever they think they're doing. I don't even bat an eye at it, if you will, because we are the truth. We are the true essence of the Creator. And I woke up this morning and there's this, I saw that my higher self showed me this energetic cord wrapped around the hearts of the people in the church. They're still teaching the children of the church that God is outside of them in the heavens or somewhere other than in them. And the truth is that the people have the divine spark of creation, and it is their energy, their essence that is being corrupted if they stay in alignment with things that are not doing, actually serving your brothers and sisters. It's about what you can do for somebody else. That is the true flow of love. And you do not make it about yourself. I just need to pause. That embedded programming in the religion that God is something outside of you, that's the one. It's not. It's in all of us, each of us, individually and beautifully. I had to say what I just said. And I thank you all for being in this space. And religion has been a huge hot topic. It has been a huge hot topic. The Christ within each of us, that's the divine spark we are talking about. The purity, the innocence, the child within. And all that is true and correct, that can never be corrupted. I rest.
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. Indeed. And, with us, the one of the concrete parts of GPMS is the equality and bringing the mother back and to stand in equality as the rest of the patriarch is taken uh, down to the equal level, but the patriarch eradicated, if you will, in the equality, and it cannot neither also be matriarch as the end result. But what I need to say, it needs to be matriarchal now to take GPMS forward because it is the feminine that is the most in alignment with that, which is beautiful. And, we've seen Emily, you attempted, you plant the seed, but what I say, don't give up on getting the divine feminine together. We have a prototype example, if you will, of its effectiveness in the Philippines, where I believe 5 of those sisters are doing amazing work at taking things forward. What I wish to share with all is I had from Pakistan the other evening for the first time with a divine masculine. He's in his heart, and but he was out of Pakistan, and we had our first contact, if you will. And he sent me a post that he wrote, and when I read it, he's right in full alignment with GPMS. I give GPMS to him. This was 2 nights ago, but no reply since. But this is significant because I recognize him. If you want to put a label on 144,000, which is really part of 4 million, he is one of them. And that's significant that he's in Pakistan because so far we only have 13 from Pakistan with GPMS. But my divine knowing says that this is a very important indication for that country. So GPMS is seated in there, and let's say put in the right hands of a divine representative to begin to emanate it outward. So that is good. Also with China, a she is in GPMS. She is not living in China. She is currently in the US because her life in China saw the communist control and the censorship, and she was able to get out years ago, and she knows what it is like in China. But what I will say, so we've just initiated some emails and looking at more ways to get GPMS into China and into the Christian community. See, again, when you look at the Christian community with the Christ ones that are in, I'd say most alignment with GPMS, it's because of that persecution in those certain countries. Nevertheless, this is another significant uh, indicator to share. Whether it proliferates in the now, it doesn't matter because it's been seeded. And in the past, I have said, very positive like things, and some of them had not come to fruition yet. But what you do is you never count them out because a seed could remain dormant for quite a while before it's germinated, if you will, and begins to sprout. But the importance is that the seed is planted and the seed does not die. So, we are in this respect. Also, with quickly with the indigenous movements, it's interesting doing an online search. What you find is that there's about 6% of the worldwide population is indigenous. and and that's kind of funny because that means what are the other 94%? Do they not belong to the planet? But nevertheless, it's not about that. It's about the 6%. And I do ideally they should have also been more of a part of GPMS right now. And
Well,
so
Rick, my journey to Tennessee, I gotta tell you this. My journey to Tennessee, it's well known in the United States just how corrupt the indigenous government is. They speak about it openly in groups that I've sat in. They talk about how very corrupt they are, and the indigenous government is not even looking after its own people.
thank you. It's the same in Canada, yeah, where you had the chiefs corrupted, and in Canada, I visited at least several. I never counted them. Um, First Nations reservations or villages, and it was very pathetic and sick to see what you would call counselors and chiefs living in these very nice homes, big cars, and at the same time, next door to them, all of these houses for the other people all beat up and garbage laying around, and it was just very evident how they were neglected the rest of the people, while the chiefs, if you will, were bought off by the system and corrupt as well. So we know this, and a lot of that was occurring as well. But again, when you look at the indigenous peoples, because of, let's say, their leaders being compromised and also humbled and controlled by the system, with the indigenous, our approach is to get to the individual people as well with this. And
Rick, we lost you. I can't hear you. I just want to say, I am totally in agreement with how pathetic the Chiefs have behaved. I mean, deep within my core, I am indigenous, and that activates and triggers things in me that like no other energy can. Um, I have to say thank you again to everyone that was here, because the energy is so good, and I feel so wonderful to be able to embody certain aspects of myself that I do struggle to embody with other beings. So Beatrice, I want to say quickly that I have been standing up when I see people speak about the Q movement and this and that and da 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 da. People for whatever reason, they seem to find that I'm here to entertain them, and then they find out that I'm not here to entertain them. I'm here to give them a message, from a higher aspect, and then they really have to go and question themselves. And I just started asking these people that are connected to me that really believe in that cue. I was like, how long are you going to wait on that? I don't let them just sit in their stink. I do work with those elements, because God only knows how far the influence can reach. It's limitless. You're capable of doing anything, and just like Rick said, kicking down all those doors and getting through to people. And Rick, I want to ask a question. I hope that I can hear you again. You said something earlier about opening the gates, and I sit here with all of this tons of creative energy and on how to get Gpms.world to the people, but with no money to do it. And when it has GPMS integrated some sort of, expenditure for getting the message out there, is where are we on that? That's what activated in me when you said open the gates. I hope you're here to answer.
yes, Emily. Yes, where I'm at on that, I put out in the contributors group not so long ago. For ones, genuine ones like yourself, to put out a fundraiser for yourself, doing, the most serious humanity work ever with GPMS. And I, for ones like you, Beatrice, any that are doing it, for to support you, by just endorsing my own self, as all of you know, we modestly and conservatively, Femke and I, for everything we do this. We work just on the genuine donated support from others. And, to give you an example, uh, we don't abuse what comes in. We only ask for enough just to keep us going. And for example, Femke and I combined lived under what is called the poverty level of 1 in the Netherlands, for the last year. And so we are very conservative in that respect. And, this is your authenticity, it's your credibility with that we're here to change the system. But at the same time, we do need this support. And ideally, as I said, it'd be great as well if we had missionaries going to these other countries where there is not internet, because you need to look at 47% of the population of the world does not have internet nor regular access to it. So they are unaware of the choice of GPMS. But you can imagine in some of these areas, if you're to walk in and say, here's everything that you need if you wish it, you know, and you're going to have a lot of consents very quickly as well. So, you know, there is that contingent or aspect that is doable and will work within GPMS. I always keep, as everyone knows, that, you know, it can happen within a month. And I need to keep that co creator stance to keep it that close to us. If I'm to go and say that it will take a year and, you know, let's get this plan together, we'll get fundraising and missionaries, then what I would be doing, I'd be lengthening the amount of time. So this is why, you know, this is where I am at, and each one has their own genuine guidance in what to do with it. But, you know, as we discussed earlier in the show, the boots on the ground, meeting face to face with the people and passing out flyers is perhaps one of the most effective campaigns, if you will. But it does, we're in between the worlds where we need at least some financial support to continue. But what I say is keep it modest and genuine to do this. So that, if that answers your question, on the wide scale, just before on the wide scale, I don't wish to see GPMS, none of us commercialized into, you know, all of this, well, commercialization, because that's not what it is. We want to get this done worldwide quicker for everyone, and we don't really wish to contaminate it in the way that anyone would be making a profit off of it, not us. And because that's not in alignment, this is not a money making scheme from the old system. This is to replace it entirely, and we don't wish to get distracted and contaminated into those avenues, if you will. So the realization and compassion is there, that each, in the understanding that we're in between two worlds and each one needs to survive, but do it. Each one is responsible for yourself, and, you know, I can't tell everyone what to do, but I remind ones to uphold your integrity, your credibility, your genuineness, and take it, your sincerity with this, and take it forward. And that's all I can say to each.
Well, but my phone is not going to last much longer. Um, I want to say all of that is great. And I've lived below poverty this entire lifetime. I mean, it isn't that I don't know how to do it. It isn't right in any respect. And I'm not going to begin to limit myself on how I can, you know, generate some sort of income, because you have to have money in order to survive this game. That's how it was set up. So I had something very important to say, and then it slipped my mind because I didn't interrupt. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. I could have opened a business as a healer. I could have opened a business as a psychic. I could have went to work for the United States government, and I still potentially could. God only knows, but they need decoded because they don't understand the language. Um, and I could have done all of these things, but the healers out there, I'm just going to call them to the front face of this this particular subject of monetizing yourself and creating a brand with yourself so that you can, take resources from other people. What they're not doing is admitting that they need the other people more than the people need them. And that is, I do not align with that. Anytime a healer tries to charge me $3,000-4,000 to work with me on a quantum level, I kind of laugh a little bit, because they don't even see that they're projecting their unhealed self, and they need me more than I needed them. And I know that sounds arrogant and cocky, but it's the truth. Um, so I do run across a lot of individuals that have created, I saw an ad the other day that the top careers in the 5D world are real estate agents, healers, energy, this and da da da. They had all of these limited ideas on how you can get to 5D Earth. And I was like, oh my God, no, this isn't happening. So sure, we might need real estate agents to help everybody that has an equal share of wealth to find their home. I don't I don't even know how that looks. I'm just kind of laughing right now. I don't know why I'm chuckling inside. Oh my goodness. I feel that there's just so much ridiculousness in our world, so much unnecessary BS.
Yeah, this is Emily. This is, what I refer to as ones being bought by the system, or they sell their soul to it. And you said a very important thing. That's what they're doing, is looking at the people, their clients, as objects to profit off of, and that's where it's sick, and that's where the whole capitalistic system, in that respect, is adding insult to injury and just making it worse. And you're absolutely correct, and I say this as well publicly too. To these ones, they should know it better about metaphysics and what have you. But what they do is they distort the real truth to substantiate, let's say, their energetic exchanges, receiving money from another, which is so convoluted and so distorted. But nevertheless, that they're caught themselves in that false justifications, um, as well. I was going to say something else, like you, and it's another important aspect, but you know and that is a hard thing to break. So this is another obstacle. We brought up the false narratives, we brought up the church, and then we brought up these healers, and the commercialization, where they're actually bought, to whatever degree. The genuine ones, it is difficult. They are out there doing their healing work on a donation basis, but you also see the trickery and the deceit with what you just said, where to go to the 5D world, the real estate, and all of these things. And this is part of the deception from the dark system itself, that lures and entices ones in, unbeknown, selling their soul to the old system. And so that is another one that we are breaking down. And thank you for being an advocate out there, Emily, on the front lines of, breaking down these devaluing, devaluing, the word, uh, these devaluing, I cannot even say it, things, with
Degrading.
degrading there, that's a better word, demeaning. um but also, what I remembered now, what I was going to say, Emily, I saw you through your, let's say, your divine frustration in the US with, let's say, 3,000 plus onto GPMS, with a population of like 340, 50 million. And supposedly over half of them are awake at the one level, but they're not awake to the next level. And they've been, a lot of them for the most part, have been led astray by the illusions, by that, but that is collapsing. But Emily, you are in, I believe USA is the the most capitalistic country in the world. So you are in the most densest place where the selfishness and the American dream, all of these things are contradictory uh, to what GPMS is, because it's selfishness, it's competition, it's being bought by the system. So, your work to get 3,000 out of the U.S. so far, it's great, and don't think you're not doing
And
anything.
Rick, something else I've been calling out to the forefront, and that is the music industry. The music industry is literally tricking our youth into a systematic control where those children have to be fully controlled by the CIA to push a narrative that creates a negative influence on the youth, so that they have to, go through all of these huge battles within themselves because of the energy of the music industry. I'm not kidding. I heard this very
Hmm.
popular girl saying the other day on a song, she said, "Oh, if you want to get to my level, you have to turn into a savage or something, or no, you have to become her rival." I was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way it's
Wow.
perpetrated and tricked upon the. Yeah, I need to say, Emily, uh, and this is truth. I'm absolutely impressed with your intellect, and you are a leader, you are a speaker in the right ways, and you have it all. So it's good in that respect for what you're doing with GPMS to be out there. What I'm recognizing is you're in a very difficult region. As I said, it's the most capitalistic place in the world. I think number two is South Korea, where Lee and Mariana and them just were at, and that was very capitalistic as well, and very dense. With, I think we only have 11 out of South Korea yet that is on GPMS. So, these are very low numbers. But jumping back to the US, everything is set up there divinely, that when it blows open there, Emily, there'll be, let's say, millions coming in. And also, having said this, Beatrice the Great, you are very impressive and very knowledgeable, and very high intellect, same as Emily. And I see you, Beatrice, placed in Canada, and thank you for being there while I'm over in Europe. But you also are the amazing, impressive leader, and with your speech and your uh, compositions, both of you. So you're in both, very dense areas, Canada included, with it. But, i- in spite of all that, and despite all of that, if you will, everything is set up in the US and Canada also to come into alignment with GPMS. So the thing is, remain adamant, and we persevere, and we need the timely patience with this. So we do our best in the collaboration, and as Emily said, the unity, and with this all together, we create, the huge think tank of looking at other angles that one might not see theirself, but when we all come together, then we are coming at coming at it from all angles, if you will. It's
Yes,
obvious
and
to I yet. Yeah, just one sec. It's obvious to I yet that there's still some ingredients that we can put in there that will open up more of the ways for them to perceive. And Lee and I, constantly we are looking at new ways and evaluating it, but we also know that there's something missing yet that gives us the breakthrough. Thank you.
well, before my phone crashes, I just want to say that the other day I was at the store, and the cashier, he handed me my stuff, and then I placed my hand out to him, for him to take my hand. And he slowly grabbed my hand, and I started crying because I'm telling you, if they get us to fight one another, then we've defeated our own self. It is the human connection. It is the connection between us. We are more powerful together. Anytime two or more come together, there is a strength, there is a bond. It is the higher energetic. So my last suggestion is to not be afraid to connect with people, reach out a hand or say hello, say thank you, and thank you, Rick, for affirming my internal, self. And we're
Oh, you're so welcome, Emily. And I always, as you know, I speak truth and I give credit where credit is due. So, and we all know how challenging this is because we are not of this present world. We're of the GPMS, and but we all get through it. And yeah, it's divinely supported. It may not be in the ways that we wish, but truly it is. And if it wasn't, we all would not be here today if that was not true, to keep it simple. Thank you.
we might have 1 or 2 minutes on my battery if anybody wants to say a farewell. Thank you all so much for coming in, and I'll just open the floor for closing comments, and then I'll close it out very quickly.
I'll just say love, light, and gratitude. I'm finished, and if anyone else, go ahead.
Beatrice, thank you for all of your contributed efforts and everything that you're doing up there in Canada. Thank you for being a strong and powerful voice for the people. Dualama, thank you for everything you're doing, and we will meet again either next week or whenever. The floor is always open for anybody to come in. The floor is always open for people to open their own Zoom meetings, have their own, collective, organized talking space. It doesn't have to be here, it can be done anywhere. And you're never restricted in how you do things. Getting the message out there, there's no wrong or right way to do it. You just do it. I love you all so very much, and we'll talk soon. Dualama, you have your mic open.
Emily, just before we go, thank you so much. And please, can you? I'm unable to do it. Before you have a video chat, I suggest in the contributors group to put the USA group in there. And I think someone from the USA, a new one, just joined as well. So it'd be good to get them all here as well. It's just a suggestion. Love, light, and gratitude to all.
Hey, Emily, Beatrice, Emily, I'd like to let you guys know that when Rick refers to the divine feminine, the connection. I think
I can't hear you, Dualama. You've been broken up for quite a few minutes, quite a few seconds now. My phone's about to crash, so I've got to close this down. Thank you to everyone. We'll talk again soon. Everyone be safe. Love, light, and gratitude.